Hello and welcome back to Spin Your Jaw. Now originally I actually started this particular series of filming the week before lockdown, way back last March, which obviously COVID had different plans for us and hindsight wasn't my greatest idea. But I'm really happy to be bringing it back to you guys remotely, at least until gyms are back open again. So sit back, maybe even grab a drink and enjoy. I'd like to introduce you to a professional boxer with an extensive list of credentials. He boxes out of Bad Boys Gym in Nottingham, and as an amateur, he was East Midlands Challenge Belt champion at middle and light heavyweight. He's a championship quarter-finalist and he's won East Midlands Gold Box Cup. He's got a pretty mean left hook on him and he's been compared by pundits to the likes of Anthony Yarde. So from your seats at home or wherever you are watching this, please give a big warm welcome to Josh Gooding.
From Luton Town, Lucy Farm, and introducing myself, Bad Boys Boxing Gym, the good-looking Gooding. There you go, we're in.
Josh, when I was recording my intro earlier, I was like, do I call him Joshy just to annoy it?
Now, my mum's actually staying with me right now, and yeah, no one calls me Joshy except her. But she's actually not calling me Joshy anymore. I think it's because
What have you done wrong?
I've lost my cuteness, and it's Joshua when she's angry. So, yeah, I kind of like it. Because it means I'm becoming more of a man. So it's like no more Joshy.
You have an extensive amateur record, but when did you actually turn pro?
2 years ago, I think 2019.
What's the plan? Any fight news coming up?
No, that's the shit thing. Like I'm being really proactive. I'm being really proactive, and I'm opening my mouth a lot more than what I usually do. Or I say opening my mouth or being more proactive on social media and just like tagging promoters and that. And to a lot of people, it might seem a bit, oh, he's really trying it, but I just thought, you know what, closed mouths don't get fed.
Definitely.
And so there isn't nothing straight in the pipeline, but I'm hoping to sneak through the back door onto one of these cards, because we're seeing a lot of upsets. I don't care about being the away fighter and going on one of these cards, because I know how hard I train. I believe in my talent. So it's like, if I get on one of these cards, I believe I can make the upset. I'm also not ignorant to the stage I'm at in my career, my age, and also the economic environment right now. It's you have to take your opportunities and take what is there. Like, you can't be picking and choosing and cherry picking your way to 10-0 anymore. It's like, if you're gonna do that, you've got to be waiting around at least a year until it comes back to normality. So like, I'll fight anybody. So like, don't pardon? Yeah, Pop Saturday. I was even thinking of doing a stream on the field.
I thought that as well. I was like, why don't I
that would sell.
Exactly. I was like, why don't I get the back garden set up? We'll do it hush hush.
I know it would sell. It would be good content. Like even we've joked about in the gym, like just like live stream and sparring, but then our coach banned it because people would just tune into it just to see it. Like, but I've got respect for my coach. It's his gym, and if he says no, like, that's no.
How do you feel about being compared to Anthony Yarde?
It's an interesting one. I can see the similarities. Like, I can see why people make those similarities, and I think it's lazy. I think because we had a similar amateur background. I think we have almost an identical amateur record. I had 12 fights, 10 wins. I fought at light heavyweight as an amateur, then went down to middleweight, won a series of titles in that short period. Struggled to get fights, which I know he did as well, and then just made the decision to turn pro. So that's one similarity. The other similarity is I cane row my hair and I'm mixed race. So other than that, I think and we have a broad upper body. Other than that, I think the similarities in style are far-fetched. We do something similar, but I do something similar to other fighters. Other fighters do something similar to me. But other than that, I think we're slightly different. Well, I think we're quite a bit different, but I don't mind it. I think he's a good fighter. I think he's a really good fighter.
You just want to make your own name.
Yeah, I don't really want to be compared to anybody.
No.
But actually, do you know what another similarity is? And
Go on.
I actually messaged Tundi, and I'm not happy. I made my debut in July 2019, and you can see what my logo, because my logo was made 2 months prior to that. Now
Yeah.
look at Anthony Yard's logo of his most recent logo. It's almost identical to mine. Now, just
Let me have a
because
look now.
he's more in the public eye, he's more famous. Well, he is famous. I'm not.
Mhm.
Um, like he can't claim that. I had it first.
We're gonna go down a little trip of memory lane. I'm hoping that this will not be laggy and it will work.
Who is that absolute unit? What a jab to the body. Learned that from Andre Ward and Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah.
So it's the jab to the body. It is a bit laggy, but I've seen this fight probably. Like I think it's got like a thousand views, and
Mm.
I think I probably had 999 of them. I
Just
was
you,
quite
and your mum was the other one.
yeah, that's right. Probably was. But Arvidas Trisno, the opponent, I knew nothing about him.
Mm.
Um, and I don't sugarcoat anything. Like he was an opponent, and he was brought in for to essentially, and what these journeymen are is to come in to really help fighters progress along their
Yeah.
career, put a test in place. However, Arvidas Trisno wasn't meant to be my opponent. I was meant to have a different opponent, but on the week of the fight,
Mm.
that opponent pulled out with some sort of injury. I didn't know the name of the opponent. And then had to pay and fly Arvidas Trisno in. Had to pay him more. Had to fly him in. He came in on a week's notice. Absolute
Mm.
hats off. Tough man. But I knew nothing about him.
Mm.
And I overheard and the commentary team say it. There was like Arvidas Trisno like shouldn't be like a debutant's like opponent. Like he's well schooled. He's well experienced. He's had over 100 fights. I think he even fought like Junior Witter several times, Chris
So
Congo
they threw you in
maybe.
the deep end then?
So yeah. I mean, like, like don't get me wrong, he came to survive. He didn't come to win.
Mm.
But at the same time, I knew there was a time in the fourth round where he just wanted to see it, if he could land and how I'd react,
Mm.
to see if he was getting tired. But you can tell he just wanted to test me, and if I would have gave him any ground,
Mm.
he would have came with it. But I just made sure that I showed him no respect. And to be
Mm.
honest, I didn't know nothing about him. I didn't search his record beforehand. So ultimately, I went in there just believing I was so superior anyway. So
Mm.
it didn't really matter who came in there. But a tough man. Like my
Mm.
hands after the fight were just swollen.
What I found quite interesting about it is when you can see him getting visibly frustrated and he's smacking himself in the head.
Yeah.
I've never seen that before in professional boxing, I don't think.
No, and I don't know what that was, because at that time, I remember being in that fight. I remember that happening. I
Mm.
remember he was sort of he. You can't really see it, but he was subtly feinting to try and get reactions out of me.
Mm.
And any time he threw, I made him miss. And I think that's what frustrated him, because I was pitter patting with my shots. I wasn't really sitting down on many of my
Mm.
shots, so I was throwing a lot of sharp shots, and he was just tightening up, making sure a
Mm.
lot wasn't getting through. And where I was sort of using my footwork to pivot around him, I just think it was just
Mm.
frustrating him, because he wanted to essentially just land a big shot
Mm.
and hopefully make it night. But
Yeah,
I just think
weren't giving it
I
to
think
him.
I just think all of the little shots and like the frustration and the footwork, and then when he did throw, apart from maybe once or twice,
Mm.
I made him miss. But I'm really grateful for him, and I'm really grateful I didn't like just. I had a lot in the tank, but I'm grateful that I didn't just sort of blast him out, because,
Definitely.
or especially try to blast him out, not in the early rounds, because I think he would have been a lot more tougher to blast out
Mm.
than it looks on the eye, because he tucks up really well, and he felt solid. Like any shot that I hit him with, he felt solid. He wasn't like moving all
Moving.
over the place. He was taking them, but it really allowed me to sort of, over those 4 rounds, see how much I had in the tank. If it would never happen again, but if I was
Mm.
to fight him again, I know that I could go a lot more faster in those first rounds, early rounds. I
Mm.
probably would try and take him out, as opposed to sort of just pitter patting.
Did you see it just there when he's backed up and he's smiling and he's laughing, and before a fight, like if you're on the street or something, when somebody starts laughing, you're thinking, oh my god.
Yeah. No, the guy was crazy. Like the guy. I remember the team telling me after that. Literally, he just put on a shirt after the fight, got changed, went for a beer. Like just literally had a beer, watched the other fights, and then apparently got back on the plane the next morning.
Oh, good for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I had it was. I've got so much respect for him because he gave me an avid test, and I didn't have an extensive amateur career. Like I was fast tracked through the amateurs, had some tough fights, but ultimately I need to learn a lot and learn quickly. And that was a fight where it was like, oh crap, I've got to learn very, very quickly, because the program's a lot different. It's not about point scoring, it's about entertainment. He helped me bring some entertainment to that first fight, because he wasn't moving all out the place. He was protecting himself. He wasn't giving much, but he was allowing me to show off my sort of shot portfolio at the same time. Like he enticed me in, and he gave the crowd something to cheer. And I had about, I think about 150 people came up from Luton to watch that fight, and that fight was in Nottingham, and I think I had probably around sort of 160, 170 there, not from my and I'm not in my own hometown. It was just a really proud occasion for me. My mum was there, had a cousin that came over from St Vincent, so it was just it was the stuff of dreams. I'll be honest with you, like I'll never forget that.
What was your ring walk song?
Shirley Bassey, Diamonds Are Forever, but remixed.
I think you should sing it for those that have never heard it before.
Diamonds are forever. Because right, put it this way: any song that says something about diamonds is likely to be a ring walk song. But I think I might just always keep with Shirley Bassey, "Diamonds for Forever," just because it's such an iconic song, the James Bond song, and everybody knows it. Whereas you got Rihanna, but that's not going to quite make it for me. Like shine bright like a diamond.
I can see you walking down in your little sparkly shorts to that.
Yeah, I don't think that quite would work. I don't think that's intimidating anybody. I think my opponent would think I'm coming for a dance with him.
So my favourite ring walk song is
Go on.
well, not song, just like ring walk experience is Josh Warrington when he's got like the army bands playing on the drum, and then he comes out to Marching On Together.
Oh, he's a beast, man. Epic. So guess what I'm gonna do?
Go on.
We're gonna go out to a steel band like a carnival.
I'd love
that. That's gonna be it one time. I don't think anyone's ever done that, so I think that's gonna be it one time.
Well, your next fight then.
Yeah. maybe, but definitely for a title fight. When we get the title fight, that's got to be it.
Who do you think's got the better supporters, the North or the South?
Oh, it's a really good question.
I'm gonna go North because.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't disagree as much as such. I think the way I would answer that question without slating my northern, without slating my southern sort of fans or supporters, is the northern fans are a lot more vocal.
Robbie, loud.
Yeah, and it's so passionate. So passionate and almost like, dare I say it, tribal. So you look at Josh Warrington, like literally such a stronghold following, and Ricky Hatton was the same. Like Campbell Hatton's going to be the same.
Yeah, definitely.
It's just a stronghold and just real hearty people. In the south, I mean, I really don't like. I mean, I'm nowhere near at the level to where likes of Ricky Hatton or Josh Warrington is, but my support is like the support of Luton Town, and like Linus will tell you the same.
He said that football
really,
fans are just A1.
It's just really strong, and again, like Linus is in terms of career is a step ahead of me, and he's had those building fights to build up his fan base and its exposure, and he, like, I've seen it with him and it's just great. And there's like another guy from Luton called Ali Malik, we fought on the same show, and I remember he went out before me to fight and all I heard was Ali. Imagine in a York Hall type arena, that's what we're fighting in. It was like Ali, 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 and it was just like, it was raucous, and I was thinking, we have some phenomenal fans. And then when I went out, and it was like from Luton, from Lucy Farm, Luton, the whole place just went up, and I was just like, do you know what? I never expected this in my life.
Really?
In my life. So it's a hard question for me to answer. The Northern fans are definitely more vocal in terms of shouting and like with traditions, I like singing and whatnot. But Southern fans definitely show out.
For the next part of the show, we're going to be doing something called Wrong Answers Only. You have... Do you know what? I'm going to give you 8 seconds to answer. I'm not going to be mean and give you 3. So you've got 8 seconds to answer with wrong answers only.
Cool.
Are you ready?
No.
Who has the best chin in boxing?
Eddie Hearn.
What is the orthodox stance?
Where you put a chicken on your head.
Do you know what Linus said? He was like, it's where you stand on your hands and you jab with your left foot.
Fucking hell.
I was like, yeah, fair enough.
He's always talking about jabs. It's just because he's got such a good jab. He's always talking about jabs. Tell him to chill out.
What does TKO stand for?
Time killing octopus.
What does throwing the towel in mean?
Wiping a shitty bum.
Who supervises each bout?
The corona doctor.
What do fighters do to help boost their testosterone levels before a fight?
No, I'll say a different wrong answer. Eat chicken bums.
What is Anthony Joshua best known for?
Texting Amir Khan's wife.
The word dosser is used to insult which boxer and by who, and what does it mean?
It's used to insult Amir Khan, and it means weak chin. I'm just going at Amir Khan now. I really like it as well.
Finish this quote. Float like a butterfly.
Fight like an elephant.
Big Baby Miller has been banned once again for boxing, but for what?
Sticking dildos up his arse.
For sake.
Good
job this isn't a family channel, isn't it?
It is, isn't it?
Who wins, AJ or Fury?
Wrong answers only.
Mm-hmm.
Fury.
Do you think?
No, but I ain't got a clue. It could go either way. Fury's definitely the number one heavyweight in the world. I actually really don't mind who wins because I really like them both. But just because so many people are picking Fury, I like to do the opposite. So I'm picking AJ.
You want to equal it out again.
Yeah, that's the only reason. Yeah. Other than that, I think they're both phenomenal role models, both phenomenal fighters. They adhere to their own sort of community and look after their own community. So literally, it's whoever the people win that fight. And do you know what it is? Actually, I want to bring up this point. The reason why I love Tyson Fury so much is, and I was never always the biggest fan. I always appreciated his skills, but when I became his biggest fan was where he absolutely like just put Max Kellerman and Stephen A. Smith in his place when they went. And over in America, where racial equality is, well, there isn't any racial equality. Here there's still a massive divide, but over in America it's so rife. And Stephen A. Smith, I believe, goes, what would you say when people are making out? And this is in reference to the Deontay Wilder fight. What would you say when people are saying this is the white hope for the black champion? Say, I'd fight any man anywhere. I don't care if he's black, white, Asian, or Muslim. It's a great man fighting another great man. So don't you dare make it about race. And I was thinking, do you know what? You've got a set of bollocks on you, Tyson, because you're going up against a massive name, a massive broadcaster away from home, and you're standing for what's right. And that's when I thought, do you know what? Not only is he a great boxer, he's a great man as well. So, and AJ, I think it's the same. So yeah, power to the people for that one. So
It's just,
it says in the Bible, those who exalt themselves will be humbled, and those who humble themselves will be exalted. She got humbled.
yes. It's like it with anything. I think Shondell Winters was doing the same thing to Alan Babbage, and he was like, "I'm gonna knock you out." Blah, blah. He was on his ass in 2 rounds.
Yeah.
Just don't say anything. Just be be a respectful athlete.
Yeah, you gotta be careful with what you say sometimes. Yeah, back yourself, have ultimate confidence. There's an element of selling the fight, I think. And you see it with, well, the biggest sort of showman was Mayweather, but apparently in person he's a really nice person to be around, but he knew how to sell a fight because he wanted people to watch him lose. And apparently the same is similar with O'Hara Davis, but there's just a fine line that if you cross, and that some people really do cross it, specifically when they're bringing any sort of prejudice into it, say like Shannon Courtney, that's when you really know when to you're really going to get humbled.
Definitely. Oh, do you think a lot of like the trash talk between fighters, do you think that is made up, or do you think it's real?
Oh, depends on the scenario. Conor McGregor, Khabib, absolutely genuine. Conor McGregor v Mayweather, absolutely made up, but both sold, and it sells. And yeah, like I'm constantly at loggerheads with myself to think, like, how would I be in that scenario? Do I try and maximize my revenue, or do I be authentic to who I am? And I can really see the more mature I get into my boxing career, I understand why certain fighters do certain things. Whereas before I was boxing or even in the pro ranks, I was just like, oh, he's a dick. Actually, sometimes he might not have been a dick, because when I met him in person, like, a lot of people thought Dillian White was a dick. Think Dillian White's a dick. I mean, he's winning over the public's hearts now, but anytime I've met him, he's been so nice to me, like so nice, and I've heard nothing but nice things. But when it's time to turn on the lights and he just gets into a different mode, he just turns into killer mode, and he says a lot of shit, and sometimes people don't agree with the shit. And sometimes it's not even personal. It's just like, I just want to kill that guy. And then that creates a personal animosity with that guy. And I just think ultimately he understands as well that he needs to sell the fight. If he's like, oh yeah, he's my best friend, that ain't going to sell. So yeah, I think it depends on the scenario, but I think there can be occasions for sure where it's falsely sort of created.
One of my first videos was on Devin Haney's white boy comments.
Yeah, that's controversial for sure.
God, I've had to delete and block so many people because they were saying the most disgusting things.
Was it in reference to Devin Haney? Was it racial against him, or was it they was offended by what he said, or offended by you posting it?
All three. So they were offended because Devin Haney had said it. They were offended because I still get, it's like, oh well, he's already lost to 2 white boys, blah 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 blah, and I'm like, oh my god, give it a rest. I've been called some interesting things in the past couple of years on YouTube.
Yeah, you gotta have some thick skin. You gotta have some thick skin being in the public eye. Theodore Roosevelt said it. It's not the critic who counts. It's not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or how the doer of deeds could have done better. It's the man that's in the arena marred by sweat and blood and tears. That's the person who counts. So you're the person putting yourself out there. Like, if everyone's going to tell you you're going to do something wrong, or this decision is that, or your opinion is this, as long as, like, you're the one in the arena, so you're the only one that counts.
I like that. Good quote.
But yeah, with regards to Devin Haney, should have never said it. In America, there is it's not the first time it's been said, and one of his role models actually said it, Bernard Hopkins. I remember when he said it when he was fighting Joe Calzaghe, he was like, "I'll never let a white boy beat me." Be so careful with what you say, because Joe Calzaghe went on to beat him as well, and it created a racial animosity. We're not trying to do that. We're trying to, and that's by both parties, both white and black syndicates. So it's like, there's just no need. Like, why does it matter if I would never say I'd never let an Irish person beat me. Like, why would I say that? Like, why would I want to create a divide? Like,
Mm,
I wouldn't have had his back, even though we were a similar lineage.
mm.
Because for me, is you don't say that. You don't bring race into it.
Especially in sports, there's never any room to bring somebody else's race
Mm,
into it. But what he said, you know, if you're offended by this, but you're not offended by, you know, the local guy down at your pub that's constantly giving some lads hassle every Saturday night, you need to
yeah,
reevaluate what it is you're
that's
upset about.
that's 100% fair. 100% fair.
Mm. You
100%.
can't,
Yeah, you've got. Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. No, I think that's spot on. I think that's really spot on.
Okay, so for the last bit, we're going to talk about your ultimate fighter. So Josh is going to build his own fighter, and I'm going to make some interesting looking graphic that we're going to laugh about later on. Let's go. So, ultimate fighter, who would you have for your ultimate fighter's head movement?
Um, for basically, it would have been Pernell Whitaker. I think he had phenomenal head movement. A lot of he was essentially of when I was coming into boxing and my highlights and sort of my interest in boxing, he was coming towards the end of his career. So I didn't see a lot of him. So it would have been Pernell Whitaker, but it's actually going to be Canelo for his most recent performances, particularly against Kovalev, Gennady Golovkin. The first fight, especially, he showed really good head movement. I actually think he lost that fight, but his head movement in that fight, staying in the pocket, moving, really good head movement. Callum Smith makes people miss by literally millimeters, and he imposes his own strength and then lands his counter shot. So we're going to go Canelo on that one.
Good price. Chin
Gennady Golovkin all day. If I liked Carl Froch, it would be Carl Froch, but
what's Carl Froch ever done to you?
I'm in Nottingham. I'm in a city, so I got to be careful. No, I mean I was a George Groves fan, so it's and he's a Chelsea fan, George Groves. So Carl Froch had an iron chin, but Gennady Golovkin for me, you saw some of the shots he's taken, particularly in that Canelo fight when Canelo does that roundhouse right hand. Gennady Golovkin eats it and keeps coming forward. Like he's a machine. He is, without a doubt, Gennady Golovkin.
Okay, left hand.
Miguel Cotto, one of my favorite fighters of all time. His left hook to the body. He became famous for it. Dropped so many opponents with that left hook. I believe he's left-handed, so should have been fighting southpaw, but fights orthodox, and that's similar to me. I'm left-handed, and my favorite shots, the left hook to the body, which he perfected. Even in his later career, where he went up to middleweight, he stopped Sergio Martinez, Daniel Gill at middleweight, and then was putting guys down with his left hook, like Zab Judah down at welterweight. So, and he's the only one that I really think could have beaten Floyd Money Mayweather. I know Maidana sort of came sort of closest on the scorecards, and so did Canelo on the scorecards. But I really like the fight that Cotto gave Mayweather.
Sure, I actually think you've got a pretty decent left hand.
Thank you.
Especially your kidney shots. I thoroughly enjoy watching people drop.
Yeah, that's definitely my shot. I love lining that up. I'm getting a lot better or knowing how to disguise that now, because as I start posting it more, people are going to be looking out for it a bit more.
Out for this.
But yeah, it's definitely my favorite shot. The left hook to the body.
Right hand.
Right hand. We're gonna go. Oh fuck! I forgot who I was going to say now. Oh, sorry. Floyd. Floyd Mayweather. Number of different reasons. He didn't have the most powerful right hand, but it was so deceptively quick. So he would roll it off his shoulder, or sometimes he'll get down into, if he wanted to lead with his right hand, he would squat down, get in front of his opponents, and shoot it very quickly. He had so many different variations of the right hand, particularly like his straight right. And yeah, he mastered all of them, where it was the pull counter, the slip counter, the shoulder roll, or the double right hand, which we saw him drop Corrales with. So yeah, Floyd, yeah, he has to be in there. TBE.
And footwork.
Footwork, the guy who because actually there's two guys, and I like Caleb Plant right now just because I really appreciate his skills. IBF champion, but the guy that everyone should watch and should listen to is Andre Ward. It's not fancy, but in terms of fundamentals, the way he closes range, gets out of range, gets people off their sort of rhythm with his footwork is just phenomenal. So against Kovalev, the hardest hitting opponent, this is when Kovalev was a killer. He would be out of range, and then before you knew it, in range, smothering him, hitting him with the body, trying to break him down, then get out of range again. And against Cole Froch, another one. So he would be on the outside, way out of range. Then he'd all of a sudden bob in, weave in, start hitting him with the left hooks, then composing himself. A phenomenal fighter that is there.
Well, I look forward to adding all their body parts together. That's all I've got for you.
That's it. What a chat that was.
What a chat. So thank you very much for coming on and gracing us with your presence. It's been great. And I want the exclusive on a fight date before it comes out.
Yeah, you'll get the exclusive, the spin your jaw exclusive on the fight date. You'll get a ticket. It'll be a virtual ticket because there ain't gonna be no fans no time soon. God willing, there is. But yeah, if not, yeah, you and your fans will get and your supporters of your channel would get the absolute heads up. Thank you, George. I really appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if there's anybody in particular that you'd like to see on the channel.